So you've done ayahuasca and you had the most profound journey. You've seen visions for your life. You have connected to your spirituality, connected to everything there is. You are so open up to all these beautiful things the universe has to give us and God is here to gift us with. But now you find yourself lost, confused, struggling to take action, and it feels like this 3D dimension doesn't make any sense anymore. And I've been there a few times in my life, and very recently I'm still going through this to a certain extent, but I want to share with you the conversation I had with one of my parents' shamans in Brazil. I called him yesterday. He's a really wise man who has been working with the plants for so many years, over 20 years. And he gave me an incredible advice that I want to share with you in this video. So if you're familiar, or if you're not familiar, when we take these plant medicines, they will open up us to our highest potentials. They will awaken our talents within. We're able to see what we're here to do in this life. But then when we come back, it can be really hard to integrate all of that on a day-to-day basis. We still maintain that 1 week, 2 weeks after, but what happens a month, 2 months later? And if you're going through this, you definitely know what I'm talking about. So here's a few things that I've been doing for myself to help me to reintegrate into my life while maintaining the work that I committed to do when I was on that journey. So the first thing that I'm working on doing now is integrating my masculine energy, because we can be very air after doing ayahuasca. So we open up our crown chakra and we're very connected to air. So we're flowing very feminine energy. We're up there and just receiving, and we just want to flow through life and just enjoy this beautiful dance. But it's really hard to create from that energy because it demands work sometimes, physical work. And we find this when we are grounding. So when we are, on the earth, we need to ground ourselves back down, and we need to bring in the masculine energy, balance out the polarities again. So my ayahuasca has a much more feminine energy, but it still has the grounding energy that comes from the mariri, which is the vine from the plant. But we need to balance that out on our day-to-day basis. So what I'm doing is I'm exercising daily. I'm eating meat. Red meat helps a lot to bring back to the carnal, bring back to the flesh and the ground. Lots of roots, potatoes, heavy meals. Workouts every day. I'm practicing discipline every day. So if I said one thing that I'm gonna do on the next day, it was extremely impossible for me to do this. I'm like, I cannot force myself to do anything. But now I'm practicing this discipline of meditating every morning, for example, or doing one piece of work every day. So perhaps it's creating a course, perhaps it's creating a slide. I do this every day. So this is just helping me to balance out the polarities, and then I can find that flow. But then on the conversation that I had with the shaman, he shared this message with me that it changed everything. And he said that the first thing is that the voice of ayahuasca is really just the voice of God talking to us. Because what a plant really is a force of nature, is the force of life. So he says that when the plant says if we want to work with her and if we want to commit it to a journey to working with her, it's really if we want to live a more spiritual life. And living a more spiritual life is in our day-to-day, is in our actions, in our behaviors, in our judgments, in our relationships to ourselves. Those tiny actions of kindness, non-judgment, forgiveness, being more attuned to the intuition and the messages that you are receiving. So that was the first thing that made total sense to me. And sort of allow it to ease that sort of sense of commitment that I had made during the journey. The second thing that he told me was that the plant gives us messages in a very scriptic way, meaning a lot of the times what it seems to be the message is not the message. The message comes and then we use the mind to try to make sense to our day-to-day life. But our mind lies to us so much. And he says you should always be skeptical of your mind. How many people come out of journeys having, godlike theories and ideas? So always be skeptical of your mind and how the message is presenting to you. In one example that he gave me, he said of this person who did the journey and had a strong feeling that they would die very soon. And by the way, that was a couple of years ago. And what he said is that sometimes when the plants show us that, It's not that you are actually going to die. You're just experiencing your emotions associated with death. The plant is just allowing you to experience your perceptions, your emotions associated to a certain topic so you can release. It's basically just helping you to set yourself free. Because everywhere that we have emotional charges, we are giving our power away to whatever is the construct that we created, right? So if it's the fear of death, and we have fears, we're giving a certain power away to the fear of death. And the plant allows us to experience that so we can release it. So he invited me to see on that way. I'm just experiencing those emotions associated to it. And the final thing that he shared with me is that when we have these big journeys that we are able to see our life vision and our potential and what we are here to do, we don't know when it's going to happen. Sometimes the climb of the ladder is really high and it's going to take a long journey. As I said, maybe this could happen 40 years from now, 30 years from now, who knows? It could happen in a couple of years, but I came out of the journey thinking that my life had completely changed and everything would change around me. And he said that the change will come when I am changing myself on a day-to-day basis that will match that energy. So the work has to be done on a daily basis on how we act, how we think, the words we speak, and really living in alignment with that vision. And without the pressure, we can't pressure anything in life. If you look at nature, we can't plant a seed, and no matter what you do, there's really not many things that will make that plant grows fast. And it's the same thing. We're part of nature and it works the same way. So it's just surrendering. You have the vision there, live life day to day as aligned as possible, but with no insistence of how long it should take or it should be happening now. It makes life a lot easier. So if you're going through that right now, I really hope this video helps you and to bring more ease and more flow in life. And the most important thing is not to give the responsibility to the plant and blame the plant. I'm going through this because I took a lot of ayahuasca and ayahuasca did this to me. If you see on the things I talk about here is all the perceptions that I've created based on the messages. The plant just showed me the messages, just showed me my vision, showed my potential. I've created everything else and I've created the challenges. The plant doesn't do anything. It just shows us the truth and we make whatever we want out of that. And if we are struggling and if we are suffering, it's probably because we are creating a misunderstanding of what the message really means, right? I hope that helps.